Hello, everyone. Hope you had a wonderful reading week break. And welcome back. We're now working on week 10. Chapter 13 deals with the submediant, and this is the homework helper for this. So turn to your own book, 13.1. We're going to go over some of the homework assignment together. Let's look at 13.1 so you know how to do it. So it says, analyze the following excerpt, which contains the submediant harmony. So you're looking for the sixth chord, right? Now I've already got the answers written in here, but let's figure out how I got it. Pick a part and sing along. 1, 2, 3, 4. From the page there. There you go. Sorry about the glitch with the page turn, but I think you get the idea. All right, so all this stuff is just the one chord in this bar. And in the melodic realm, you can account for all the notes as passing tones, which are not part of G, B flat, D. But you don't have to mark it in the harmonic realm. We just call it one chord. Okay, so the downbeat is a 4 chord. When out of C, E, G, if you add an A into the mix, it changes it to the 2 half diminished 6, 5. And by the way, I want to say that I'm very pleased with the analysis that was happening on the midterm. I think you guys, for the most part, are really getting it quite well and notating the chords correctly and calculating them correctly. So that's really great. So let me do the second bar again. We're on the 4 chord, C minor. If you add an A in there, then it changes it to the 2, 6, 5 and half diminished in first inversion. Here's cadential 6, 4. That is not a 1, 6, 4. It is the 5 chord with the 6, 4 suspension on the front of it. So this is a cadential 6, 4 to 5 to 1. Okay, and this is just E flat major in G minor. There's your 6th chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. E. Okay, capital 6. C minor is 4 to 5. 1, 6 to 1 to 5. Half cadence. I do want to talk to you all about the difference in levels 1, 2A, and 2B, especially 2A and 2B. Now, this particular thing we just did had 2 phrases. The first 2 bars constitute a phrase with a cadencing on the 1 chord on the downbeat of bar 3, which also is the beginning of the next phrase. So the phrases elide a little bit there. We've got 1 chord in bar 1, and then in bar 2 we have predominant, dominant with the suspension on it to the 1 chord. So that phrase model lays itself out pretty well. We just have level 2B here because every change of chord in this particular case is structural. It's part of the phrase model. But now from bar 3, going over the next page, it starts on the 1 chord. This is an E flat chord, a 6th chord. This is not structural. Down to the 4 chord, to the 5. So now we need to figure out the phrase model for this thing. If you think it's all tonic expansion like I do, all the way through starting in bar 3, bar 4, bar 5 to bar 6, all the way to the last chord, beat 4 of bar 6, that's all tonic expansion. And then it cadences on a 5. That's the phrase model of this thing. It's a half cadence there, HC. Now, that's all in level 2B, the structural portions. But how do you account for these other things? Going from the 1 chord in bar 3 to the 6, dropping down a third to the 6th chord, dropping down a third to the 4 chord, and then going to the 5, and then a 1 and back to a 1, 6 and back to 1. You could call this an embedded phrase model. This is not structural. It's an embedded phrase model because if you look, see, the 1 chord is in root position, the 6th chord is in root position, and the 4 chord is, but then a 2, 6, 5 half diminished pops up. That is an inverted chord there. And also if you say that it's, and there's also a 1, 6 there. So there you have an embedded phrase model in level 2A for those bars. And let that sink in for a minute. It's not the real phrase model. It looks like one because we had a 1 chord, and then we went to the 6, which is like the pre-dominant. It prepares the 4, which comes in the next bar. Also, there's that 2, 6, 5, which also functions as a predominant chord. Then you have the dominant chord and moving to a 1. So that is all the decorative, not structural phrase model. The true phrase model is just tonic expansion all the way to the downbeat of bar 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the difference. Now, I want you to do letter B on your own. I don't know if I can play this thing anymore or not. Let me try it. Now, Chopin has done a lot of broken chord stuff. But if you collapse all of that together, let me use my eye pencil to show you. You can say that all of this is C, E flat, G. All the notes in there, right? Now let's figure out all the notes in here. F, A flat, C, E flat. I couldn't stack those vertically like I did the other ones. So if we're in C minor, this would be a 1 chord for that whole bar, or excuse me, for that whole 2 beats, beats 1 and 2. Now beats 3 and 4 would be a minor 4 chord, 7. Okay, so we got this, and then, and you just proceed in the same way. I see a B and a G and a D and an F up here. So B, D, F, and G. That equals a 5, 7 chord in first inversion. And you finish the rest of it. And that's not very much more to do. We almost finished the whole thing right there. You can also, in the melodic realm, when you have all these passing notes and things like that, you can mark those as well. Now, this looks like a preparation, suspension, and resolution. It almost functions like that. If I said preparation is consonant, that D with a B in the bottom, but over the bar line for this would be a compound 9, but it's not going down like it's supposed to. It doesn't go down like that. This particular one goes up. So it's not quite following the real rules of species counterpoint that were laid out in the tutorial, but it is certainly a suspension right there. And then, you could call this a passing note. This is just if you wanted to analyze the melody, what is structural and what isn't. I'm just really concerned about the harmony here, though. Good luck.